This program is a production of the College Football Network, which is now available on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, YouTube, and Vimeo. Visit www.collegefootballnetworkinc.com for a list of future shows and links to our social media accounts where you can stay up to date on our newest shows. Hello everyone, welcome to Cook Like a Champion on the College Football Network. I'm your host Max Carter, and today I'm here with lifelong Georgia fan Miss Jean, and she's going to show us how to make her legendary Georgia Crownies.
Thank you, Max. I need to tell you a little bit about these brownies and where they came from because it's really a cute little story. My aunt lived in Washington, Georgia, and she went to the beauty parlor, not the hair salon, and got this recipe from a lady down there, and they were all sitting down there snickering because they have liquor in them. And when I got to her house, she wanted to make them so badly, and she could not go to the liquor store. She could not be seen at the liquor store. So I said, okay, well, I will go with you. I'll go and bring it back. And so I picked up my pocketbook and got ready to go, and she went, wait. And I went, wait. I thought I was running to the liquor store. She says, oh, I'm going. I went, you're going? I didn't think you could be seen at the liquor store. And she said, oh, my car can't be seen at the liquor store, but I can be in your car at the liquor store. So these brownies came from my aunt from the beauty parlor, and over the last 10 years or so, they have evolved into what my tailgate knows as Crown Royal brownies or crownies. So today, that's what we're going to make, are my crownies. Now you start with a box, a 9x13 box of brownie mix, and it doesn't matter what kind of brownie mix that you use. It just needs to be a 9x13 box. And then you take 3 eggs, and you add 3 eggs to the mix. We're going to add 1 egg, 2 eggs, 3 eggs. And we're not going to add any water because we're going to pour liquor into these when they come out of the oven. Now the recipe calls for a cup of nuts, but at my house we don't necessarily measure everything. And this is how many nuts I have, and so this is how many nuts we're using. So I'm just going to pour the rest of this bag of nuts into the brownie mix. And then we're going to add the amount of oil that's on the back. And it's going to ask for 2/3 cup of oil. So we're going to pour 2/3 cup of oil into the brownie mix. And now we're going to stir. We're going to get them all mixed up. Now these are very rich brownies. When we get through putting all the icings on them, they're going to be very rich. And so we usually cut them very small. And they're also very potent because they have crown in the brownie and they have crown in the icing that you don't cook out. So we let them soak. So we get them all mixed up. We get them all mixed up. And then it looks something like this. Oh, there's a spoon.
I'll get a good look at that. Looking yummy.
All right. So then we take our pan, and I got a disposable pan. Now because these are so rich, you can half or quarter the recipe. You don't have to take the whole recipe to the tailgate. Sometimes if we have back-to-back home games, what I do is I make them on one Friday, make them on one Friday and take half of the recipe this Saturday, and then I pull out the second half and take them the next Saturday. They are a tremendous hit. My tailgate crew ask about them if they are not there. So we take a pan, and we take our Pam, and we spray. Just have to spray the bottom really well. So you want the bottom of the pan to be sprayed. And then we pour these brownies into our greased pan. Like so. Oh, there's a little bit left. And we spread them out. And they really just look like regular brownies right now because that's pretty much what they are. If you don't have nuts, don't have to add nuts, you can add pecans, you can add walnuts, you can add pistachios or almonds, just whatever you have in the kitchen. And then this is what our pan looks like before we put it in the oven. The oven's set to 350 and we bake it just like the back of the box says for approximately 30 minutes.
So you don't add the alcohol until...
No, you don't add the alcohol until after they are baked because you want them to soak for about a week before you serve them. You want to soak up the alcohol. Now we wait for 30 minutes, and I will tell you that I have tried every flavor of Crown Royal making these brownies. The regular, the apple, the peach, the salted caramel, and we're going to put a layer of icing on them that has Crown Royal in it also. My favorite, my personal favorite, is regular Crown Royal in the brownies and salted caramel in the icing. Now, the peach makes excellent brownies and excellent icing. It's just that that's seasonal. So if you're in football season, peach is not necessarily available. So we use
It's very Georgia.
the regular Crown and the peach and the salted Crown. And I'll say this, my Tailgate crew loves them. They think they are the best. We have evolved it over the years, but Crown is our drink of choice at the Tailgate. So that's why we opted to go with the Crown, because it's just always available.
What other recipes do you usually make?
They like my breakfast casserole, and it's just that basic egg and sausage casserole, but I use croissants instead of loaf bread because I don't like soggy bread. And I put gravy on the top of it, which is like a heart attack waiting to happen, but pretty much I don't bring any of that home. And they like my Velveeta cheese and Rotel dip also. So those are pretty much the three I make. In our Tailgate, we have a guy that sort of leads what we're having. Brownies are just always good, but he has like themes each week, and so sometimes when we have the hamburger and hot dog, the all-American theme, we make baked beans. But what he does is everybody just makes a dish of baked beans and he dumps them all in a big pan and heats them. But yeah, we have lots of themed, and he puts it out like in June, so we're well prepared for what our assignments will be. Several years ago, when Tennessee played us at home, he used over 500 plates. So somewhere we fed close to 500 people that day.
Oh, dang.
We have a very large tailgate on a given day, and then all the drop-ins and visitors and what have you. We can have quite a crowd. And we've been known to have bands, and we've been known to have bars set up around the tailgate that provide different drinks. So we have a good time, and it's fun. It's been 30 minutes now, so let's check our brownies. They smelling really yummy and done. So we reach in our oven and we take the brownies out. Smell delicious. So as soon as the brownies come out of the oven, you take you a fork and you poke holes in the brownies. And it's just random. It doesn't, there's no set pattern. There's no set anything. Just poke holes in the brownies. Now, the recipe calls for 6 tablespoons of liquor. I have learned that that's not how you do it. You just take your bottle and you pour. Now, you have to be very careful not to get it too wet. But the way I measure mine is that I just pour the liquor until the top of the brownies are wet. And we just because you don't want them soggy, you just want them to have that good crown taste. Now, the best thing to do when you're making these brownies is that you do these steps, bake the brownies and pour the liquor on Tuesday. And then you take the lid and you put the lid on and you set them aside. And you just leave them on the counter till Friday night or Friday afternoon or Saturday morning before you go to the tailgate, but probably Friday because you want your liquor in your icing to have time to set up too. So now we're going to make the first layer of icing to go on the brownies. First layer of icing is a soft stick of butter. So we're going to put a soft stick of butter in the bowl. So I reach my cup in here and I get 1 cup of powdered sugar. And you know, we just, like I said, we just sort of, it's kind of hit and miss here. 1 cup. And 2 cups. And we're going to stir this together. Now, what makes this icing so yummy is adding the salted crown caramel. Now, the recipe calls for 3 tablespoons. That is what we will put in here. 3 tablespoons of salted caramel crown. So 1, 2, 3. It just smells so good. You know, when you're in the kitchen by yourself, just drink that out of the bottle and nobody will ever know. So, so yummy. All right, now we're going to mix it. And get it all mixed up.
So does the icing have to sit for a week?
No.
So what day do you need to make the icing on? You make the icing on Friday?
Yes. So we've mixed up our icing, and today is Friday or Thursday, just whenever you have time. But you want the icing to have time to the liquor to set up in the icing too, and then you get your brownies, and they'll just be ready to go, and you pour this icing on top of the brownies. And you spread it. Just spread this icing, and it may be a little lumpy with the butter, but that's okay because you're going to put a hot icing on top of this that will melt that butter. That if there's any butter that has not dissolved or melted, it's okay because you're gonna fix that in just a minute. Now, you can do this in 3 different days. Like you could do this on Thursday and then do your top icing on Friday. Usually I'm in a hurry and I don't have time to do all that. So I do this and I set it aside And then I might let it set up for an hour or so, or I might do it right then, just whatever I have time in my schedule for. And now we're going to make the chocolate icing that goes on top of the white icing. All right, so now we're going to make the chocolate icing that goes on top of the white icing. And I have a brand new bag of chocolate chips here. The recipe calls for 6 ounces, which is approximately 2/3 a cup of chocolate chips. But I'm just gonna, Southern people don't measure too much, we just pour. So we're just gonna pour about 1/4 of a bag in this pot. And you know what? If you use too much, you can just add a little extra butter and it'll still be fine. But you pour your chocolate into your pan, and then you take 3 tablespoons, 1, 2, 3, 3 tablespoons of butter. And you put it in the chocolate chips. Now you can cut this up a little bit if you want to help it melt. And then we put it on the stove. You just stir and stir. And sometimes if you think it's a little thick and it's not going to be spreadable, what you do is you just put a little more butter in here. If you need it. We'll give it a minute and see what it needs. You want to stir because you do not want to burn the chocolate. Burnt chocolate ruins the taste.
So all we have in there right now is just butter and chocolate.
That's all you're going to have. It just needs to melt and be not too thick because you want it to spread out over the white icing. And this might be a little thick, so you know what we're going to do? We're just going to add just a little bit more butter to thin it out a little bit. Just cut it up in here. And stir. See, you'll thin it out a little bit. And see how nice and melted that is? So then we take our brownies that are sitting over here, and they've set up, and we pour this on. And now we spread it out. And you just let it mix. It's okay to mix it with the white. And now you let it sit. And it's best, like if you do make it on Friday, you can leave it on the counter to set up. Or if you think that you're not going to have enough time, you can stick it in the freezer for about 30 minutes. The tailgaters of Creswell Circle eat these every weekend that there's a Georgia home game. For probably the last 10 years, if not longer. They make an excellent tailgate dish. It's an excellent dish to take to a party. When you're having a luncheon with the ladies, they're great. But they're truly Southern. They're truly ours because we've played with the Crown and made them ours the way we like them. You should try them and experiment the way you like them for your family and Tailgate crew. I cut these a little large just so they would show up on the camera better, but usually you cut them about half this size. But would you like to try one?
Yes, ma'am. So
They're so yummy, and the crown is so prevalent.
that was really good.
Very good.
Good chaser.
Touch your crown with your crown.
Well, thank you all for watching. Thank you, Miss Jean.
Oh, sure. Thank you for letting me share my aunt's recipe with everyone.
And everyone, you'll have to try it out and let us know what you think. So, and if you're in Athens for a game, maybe you'll run into Miss Jean. So,
And always remember, go dogs.
go dogs.
Although I will say this, there's some in my refrigerator that have been there like a month. I mean, they last forever because there's so much liquor in them.
These brownies are just like the Bulldogs. You can't beat them.